Back in my neck, my neck and my back. Well, but that's crap too, though. I don't believe that either. What? So Scott Bush, right?
Alright, go.
All right, we are live here. We're back. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Northwest Sports Talk 206. Here with Prim, here with Scott. Here at the Waterland Arcade. One of the sponsors, Waterland Arcade. Come on down with your friends and your family. A lot of stuff to do here. Karaoke, pinball tournaments, you name it. So come on down to the Waterland Arcade every Saturday at 12:30. Myself, Prim, and Scotty. So we have a lot of stuff to get to because there's been a lot of stuff going on even in our absence of not having a show last week. Just a few things to talk about. I want to talk about our thoughts of Seattle Seahawks not making the playoffs. All this debate, all this dialogue about this and that, and we barely missed the playoffs. I want to discuss about who's the biggest disappointment on the Seahawks roster this year. Who you have high expectations for, and they kind of fell from grace. We're talking about the NFC West. Are we surprised that the Rams won and the 49ers are last place? Which one are you more surprised? Is Sean McVay a coach that is very underrated? Knows that he wins whether his roster is stacked or subpar. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about Devin Witherspoon making the Pro Bowl. Leonard Williams was snubbed. We'll talk about that as well. But we're also, he is the first Seahawk to go back to back Pro Bowls in his first 2 years. I wonder if we know who the last Seahawk in his first 2 years went to the Pro Bowl. Russell Wilson. But we'll get into that later. Highly underrated. Jones. We know that the Seattle Seahawks defense was great when Jones came into Seattle, solidified that middle of that middle guard of the Seahawks defense. right? Took on that middle linebacker responsibility, became physical, and we really went uphill since he came into the lineup. Signing him long term, is that going to be a problem? Knowing that the holes we have on offensive line. So a couple of things to kind of think about Jones moving forward. Tyrese Knight, was he the biggest surprise rookie for you on our Seahawks team, solidifying that linebacker? And then the J.J. McCarthy rumors are starting to buzz around. Is Seattle enticed to pick up J.J. McCarthy? Would we be on board with that? I want to hear these guys take on that. Geno Smith, what are we going to do with him? What are we going to do? He's the quarterback that Seattle fans love to hate for whatever reason. So we're going to talk about that. Do we see a better option? Can we stockpile the roster by going cheap at quarterback, right? Not paying the quarterback and building around. Let's talk about that. The Final Four of college football. Who do these guys have? How impressed were they with Ohio State beating Oregon? We're going to talk about that a little bit. Let me see what else I got here. And then we're going to have some final words from these guys. Whatever drops in their mind about the sports world, going to have a little 5-minute temper tantrum, so to speak, about what's going on in the sports world. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So the first one, you know what I'm saying, I am the Seattle Seahawks representative insider. I know some people who know some people who know some people. With that being said, what are your what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about Seattle not making the playoffs?
I told you so. There's my thought. Since week one, I said they are not making the playoffs.
Okay. Okay.
And you would not be better than Vegas. Big revelation there, Scott. I tell you. Vegas had us down as the over-under as being 5 wins this year. So I think realistically, we have overachieved what their expectation was of us.
Yeah.
But we fell short because realistically, we could have righted the ship in spring training if we went ahead and made some of the right moves ahead of time, and then we would have been able to get on about the business. But it's disappointing that you missed the playoffs, especially when you had your hands firmly in grasp of your own destiny. To drop one to Green Bay in New York, total ineptitude. And realistically, if you would have beat the Giants this year, the team that's only beat 3 teams all year long, you would have beat the Giants this year. That would have put you in a position to be playing for playoff position tomorrow. So realistically, there's a couple that you dropped that you shouldn't have dropped. But I think we're in a spot where we knew that when we got rid of Pete Carroll, we were going to be starting philosophically from a different position and from a different place, right? So with that being the case and that being the understanding, I feel good about where we're at. I feel good about not necessarily making it, and if it was a situation where we needed to lose a game or to change our positioning, the draft wise, I would be upset if we won tomorrow. But since it doesn't matter, let's go ahead and turn the page and go ahead and get a win before we end the season.
Yeah.
I'm in draft mode already. I'm into all season. I'm looking at quarterbacks. I'm looking at offensive line. Because realistically, those are the things that we're needed. And Scott, you look like you have that look on your face.
So you're in draft mode already.
I'm in draft mode already.
So did you see this latest possible trade that might happen?
Are you talking about the McCarthy?
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, when they talked about it, I'm a big Penix guy, obviously, but I wasn't opposed to Penix, Nix, or Harden. Those were the 3 that they said were lined up at that spot just before they all went off board. I just don't know what the compensation for McCarthy is. If it's 2 first, no.
No, they want this move.
They're not. No, I saw that trade from
a
TikTok.
first round pick
Yeah.
and
Well, I'm gonna take it like this, Scott. The old folks used to tell me all the time. Said people in hell on ice wall. You're not gonna get good. That's just not gonna happen. I saw that this morning. Man, I took out somebody's pipe dream. That is just not. That's not. But realistically, though, you could end up. You could get Woolen. Could have Woolen if you wanted it. I wouldn't be opposed to trading him, trade Brown. Bad, whatever other corner which might, and maybe a first for McCarthy. But I think realistically, what we should be looking at is going ahead and trying to figure out how do we lower Geno's cap in for next year, extend him a couple more years, and trying to find the quarterback of the future later in the rounds. And honestly, tell the truth, the quarterbacks that have actually been successful have not always been those top tier number one first round draft picks, as we see. Well, yeah,
I totally agree. The quarterback position should not be going first round.
well, I've been watching. You know, the guy I've been watching that I've kind of become enamored with. There's two guys. No, not a quarterback.
You know you want that big beefy white boy.
Riley Leonard from Notre Dame, and Jackson Dart from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
They're quarterbacks I think that maybe down the road later might have an opportunity for us to pick up. But we just have so many holes on that offensive line. I feel like if they could, we're talking about this as he makes some crazy boneheaded plays from time to time. We're trying to figure out what Geno was thinking when he threw that. But I think if we can get a offensive line, build an offensive line that can run the rock consistently, it'll take a lot of pressure off Geno having to try to be too much. So yeah, missing the playoffs, I think that's the thing, but you gotta focus up and figure out what's next. Free agency's coming after the Super Bowl, and your guys go to the playoffs, and then excuse me, not the playoffs, but to the Pro Bowl. And then we have the draft. And so those are the things that we're going to be probably for the rest of this 6 months. So
He planned on playing next year.
and unfortunately, I don't believe he'll be here. Because I love Tyler. I think Tyler brings so much to the table, but Tyler also takes a lot to the table. It is character. He makes way too much money for us to continue to keep him. I would not necessarily be opposed to trying to figure a way of losing DK. With the proliferation of 707 from the middle school ranks all the way to high school, you have seen more wide receivers come out there, confidence running the NFL route tree. They're teaching it to them in sixth grade, and you can see the talent that's out there. The kid, what's the boy down there in Alabama? He's a freshman in Williams, I think. That's a freshman. He's 17 years old, and he was killing it this year. Oh, and also Jalen Milroe. He's still out there too. So I think there's a lot of options here. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And
When I saw that photo, I'm like, duh. And you didn't see that one.
I'm wondering if he could have the same type of impact as the Daniels and Jalen Daniels because of his ability to run. Daniels is exceptional, and he's a generational talent. Let's see.
I think Milroe can be as impact with the right that's
And that's the thing. That's the thing that any you're talking about Sam Darnold, right? We're talking about Jalen McCarthy. We're talking about Sam Darnold. Look at what Sam Darnold and Geno Smith moved to the same exact forward. And look at the Jets. Jets couldn't protect them. Jets, they did not have a system in place that actually well, developing your quarterback matters. And my My buddy in purple, Barney over here,
Army with muscles.
he has this thing with Russell Wilson, and realistically, the thing about Russell Wilson was developed properly because Russell Wilson came into a situation where he had an offensive line impact, right? You had a defense that was intact. You had a running game that was intact. And all you had to do was just bring him in and tell him, don't make no mistakes. And a receiving core, a phenomenal receiving core at that.
They were a well-rounded team.
Yes.
Just needed a quarterback.
Yes. So right now they're looking at teams who need everything at the top of the draft, and they're going to draft a quarterback. And then you wonder why my quarterback is not having success. But if the quarterback doesn't throw the ball from himself, the quarterback can't throw from his back. So it's a lot of things. Anyway, I can go on and on and along with.
Yeah, so we know you can. You said a lot of good things. I think you brought up Tyler Lockett, and like I said, it's too much money for a third receiver. And Jackson Smith and Jigma have just pretty much played him out of Seattle. Period. Anyway. So it'll be different if Jackson Smith struggling. Then we would question whether to bring him back or not. So I think Tyler Lockett gone. Take that. Was it $30 million? I think it's 30. Holy, that's. Yeah, how many guards can get with that money? So that means it's a done deal. Now the whole JJ McCarthy thing is intriguing because when I seen him drop the 10th overall by Minnesota, outside of him playing Michigan, playing on a stack team, I didn't see anything special about it. That's just me. I think we got a JJ McCarthy on the bench right now.
No.
What are you talking about? Why not? I think, and then
Which one you say?
AJ had that's what you had. He can bring the pick.
He's a game guy.
Yeah. He's the guy that he'll run the ball down your throat, and then all of a sudden he'll just throw it down between two of your safeties, and his wide receiver right in the middle of the air.
But one would argue with J.J. McCarthy is that he would need a run game. He'd be best suited to have a run game.
Well, what? To have not having a run game. Then what? Rocket was
Well suited to having a run game. There's some quarterbacks that actually was pretty successful without Dan Marino.
Never won
His whole career. No, when I'm talking about, he put up huge numbers. He was highly effective. So we're talking about
he still didn't win anything.
you can't talk about winning the Super Bowl as being a good quarterback.
No,
But I hate that argument because it takes a team to win a Super Bowl.
but that's the team.
I mean, that's to say, would you ever consider Russell Wilson to be better than Peyton Manning? No.
No, but he has statistics close to him.
Okay. Sound better, but then again, but Seattle beat him head to head. Was that just a sign off that Russell Wilson was that much better than Manning?
No,
Absolutely not. Exactly. So with that being said, J.J. McCarthy, when he's best at Michigan, I saw him at Michigan, he had a great run game. And he's mobile, which is a good thing. But what is he going to look like behind Seattle's offensive line?
Like Chris. Like Gino.
Exactly.
Because, like I said,
So fix the line
fix the line.
and put Gino back.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. I'd rather
And I'm trying to figure out how
let's fix the line and put Russell Wilson back behind that.
Gino. Oh my goodness.
And I didn't grow up.
You don't think with Gino. I don't think with Gino. No. No.
I'm sorry, I like Gino.
Russell Wilson
Every year.
Well, then I like Gino. I just say that,
We need a quarterback that's going to be here for more than another 6 weeks of getting pummeled.
I just hate the fact that everyone's taking on Gino when he had the less time to throw any quarterback in the NFL.
I'm glad Hank's not Gino.
Under duress the whole time. When Gino Smith got the clean pocket, he's throwing dimes. You know what I'm saying? But the mere factor, under duress, and it's all, yeah.
Like I said,
Can anybody back there, they can say,
Gino is the Bo Callahan.
trying to remember who Bo Callahan is. But bring that up. Who's Bo Callahan? Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah. Drop, man.
Nobody went to his birthday party.
Monday night.
Nobody went to his birthday party.
I'm done with this. I am done with this.
Fictional character.
So,
I said my Monday night for everyone.
Lord,
They go, oh, he died not too long ago.
so next topic was kind of in the same realm here. Who is the most disappointing Seahawks team? Now I'm gonna go first. The first is Tariq Woolen. Wow, the most disappointing out of all the Seahawks because, and this is to me, because they were supposed to be the number one duo. And it seems like he has regressed. His first year, man, he flew off the chart. Second and third year, it seems like offensive coordinators studied his game and decided how to attack him, and he has not evolved. Because if you're not getting better in the pros, you're getting worse. So now he's become Brandon Browner. He's become Brandon Browner without the physicality. Yeah, he become the when Brandon Browner was part of Lisa Boone, right? He got a lot of penalties. He got toasted a lot. But his physicality kind of helped with the intimidation factor. He made some big plays, big hits, right? But you wasn't confident if he was on isolation with the number one receiver. You know he was going to get penalized. He was going to grab. He was going to tug. And that's the same thing Tariq Woolen has been doing all season. Right? If Tariq Woolen was just a shell of himself, we win 4 games. Shell of himself.
We reached 3 more games. So what's your point?
All right, Brandon. All right, you can't get next.
More than half of the passes that he dropped. We win 3 more games.
So
Who's in first place?
So who's yours? Who's your
DK.
DK?
DK's my biggest disappointment.
Oh, that's huge.
He dropped more passes this year than he should have. So, off his hands. Or off his chest. If he makes those catches, first 6 in first place, just at least 3 more wins.
That's a strong one right there.
And with that being a strong, I believe he's correct.
Okay.
I believe
So you got to pick your own guy. Okay.
I think both you guys are correct, but I think that the biggest disappointing Seahawks this year is John Snyder. What he's done as far as the decisions that he made, what we're talking about right now, and he asked a question about playoffs, right? How do you feel about not making playoffs? We missed the playoffs by half a game. I mean, essentially, that's what it's going to come down to. If we win tomorrow, we miss the playoffs by half a game. Now, watch this. You made a bad pick when you got Connor Williams here. Connor Williams lost me 2 games. Him being on the field lost you 2 games.
Yeah.
He lost the Buffalo game that you had. That's 21 points that got dropped for just for the fact he was here. That's the snap over his head. That's the snap past Gino, and Gino's not even calling for the ball. That's the game, and that's the game that should have been won. Now you look at John Snyder's acquisition of the linebackers that he brought in. The fact that he never even made an attempt to bring Bobby back. Bobby's in the post. Brooks, he didn't think bring the right Brooks back. I don't know what the cost would have been to bring Bobby back, but Bobby was willing to stay there. It may have done it at a cheaper rate if you actually paid him. He righted the ship after a while, but when you made those adjustments, you lost games that you shouldn't have lost this season. You lost games. Honestly, you ready for this? And this is going to sound crazy when I say it. You shouldn't have lost to the Giants, and you should not have lost to Buffalo. That Buffalo game was the even though Buffalo was one of the top seeded teams in their division over there, right? We had them. We had an opportunity, but the person nail did not fit at the moment. And so I think we came in with a lot of hope that John Snyder was going to make things happen the way they're supposed to. He was the one who was supposed to fix his offensive line. He drafted, three linemen, right? He drafted Haynes. He drafted LeMay. He drafted Jarrell. LeMay and Jarrell barely played this year, and Haynes barely got on the team. So what did you do with your third round pick and your sixth and seventh round picks that were supposed to be contributors this year? LeMay has contributed.
Yeah.
Jarrell's contributed a little bit.
Yeah.
In spot movement. But the biggest pickup that you should have had was Christian Haynes. And he was a failure at best. And then you keep running. You let Damian Lewis get away for $10 million to go to Carolina. He has solidified the Carolina Christian.
Don't forget.
It's not all about him.
He put a bad taste on all that to watch. Well, he didn't put that thing over the bank.
You know what? I want to put him in the boss mouth. I'm going to get out of that season. Let's see more talent.
But he took bad taste compared to nothing.
When the man who is trying to cover can't cover, you're last, as you're saying, he if he knows he has to make the tackle. But we end up with a concussion. That is the thing have that you all and now look. Don't have arms. Go ahead.
Well, I'm hearing you out, but I would say I disagree with Connor being Snyder's fault. If you look on paper, he's considered a complete center at position. So that was a brilliant move. He just happened to all of a sudden not be in football anymore. Due to personal reasons, whatever it may be. The boy can play. The boy got take beyond take beyond take as being one of the better younger centers. So that is a football thing that you can't necessarily put on the jeans.
Oh, but here I can't.
Yeah, I can't because that's Carl Williams.
Yeah, on paper,
Yeah.
Connor Williams did what's up there.
So he was the best one to pick, bro.
Tiger should have seen that there was something else going on here. And noticed that there was issues and rectified that issue so that the Williams issue came.
That's interesting.
Okay, you're wrong.
So what's meant up to fall on him?
No, that if you're the one that's saying this, it's your perspective to son, God, head here, and he's got something going on personally for him. He's not feeling different, he's not feeling that. That don't be it's your issue.
With Scott, I think we can always go back to that mirror thing. Just because he gets screamed anywhere else, he comes here and he lays an egg.
Yep.
I blame Mario.
Listen, you're talking about Connor Williams for the games. That's the reason why he didn't go back to Miami. The reason why he didn't go back to Miami was because they leave, and they didn't like something that they saw. So the issue is when we start talking about Williams, how do you draft a center the year before when he's older than him?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a franchise starting center, and we knew he was supposed to be coming after we moved Evan Franklin and got us out of the way. He was the guy that was in line. Then you got Sundell, who was out there, who was the third string center, who was the one who actually balled during the preseason. So now what you did is you brought Connor Williams in to uppercut the man who you were developing to be your starting center. That's a John Snyder issue. That is a Snyder issue altogether.
That's pro football.
But you don't.
You man up and you compete. That happens all the time.
And there was no competition. The competition came at the contract signing.
Right.
And there was no competition. Once Connor Williams got here and signed, there was no competition between him and Oliver Timmy. Oliver Timmy was inactive. Oliver Timmy was inactive. That's a Snyder issue. And that's a person. So when you could, and here goes how the hierarchy works down, that Pete is gone. John is responsible for the coaches, and he's responsible for the personnel that he brings in. So realistically, I get it. You could not have seen or foresaw what was wrong with continuity, but you should have been a little suspicious about the issue coming back. He hadn't even had a full year to rehab from his knee. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to see Adrian Peterson come back and have to come back from ACL surgery and all that. But it's one thing to see a 300-pound man come back from a knee issue. Look what we're dealing with. We're talking about Abe Luke, right? We're talking about Abe Luke. Abe Lucas missed the whole season last year, right? He missed almost the whole season this year, just trying to rehab and come back from a knee.
Yeah.
And he looks great, but you still need to know.
Yeah, you do.
And Connor Williams did not have time, and I believe that Connor Williams left because he needed his body to hold up. And so I still put all that on Snyder. Now guess what? Do I think Snyder can fix it all? I think he can. He's got to start being honest with himself of his limitations and bringing people in to help him advise him on the offensive line. His philosophy on offensive line and the interior of the offensive line, not spending money there, is flawed. Majorly flawed.
You got too comfortable having Carroll making decisions and saying, hey, I need people in these positions.
Well, he got too comfortable with Russell Wilson's end of this game in the moves. Pass rushers.
He's the real thing.
I mean, when you allow that to happen for 7 to 8 years for Russell Wilson, and he's able to get in and get out, it wasn't the fact that you demolished the offensive line that he had when you came in. You know, the Tyler
Max Unger.
The Max
Started with Max Unger.
The Max Ungers.
Downhill.
What's the other flex? The Italian kid. He was a monster.
The 6'7" Giacomini, the right tackle.
Yeah, Giacomini was a business dude.
I like
him.
What about Fred?
Come on.
Justin Brent, yeah.
He drafted Easton Posick, right, to play center, right?
Yeah.
And also
You were drafted to play center.
center guard and tackle,
Yeah.
right?
They
Posick,
kept moving it.
you let Posick get out of here. Posick went on to play a wonderful time in Cleveland, right? Posick is doing this thing. Every one of these guys, and that's coaching, right? That's a coaching issue. There's a flaw in the coaching process, but I think they can fix it just to have a new regime, right? But those personnel moves, those are Snyder's, man. I think he's been a disappointment this year in that aspect. So,
With that being said, when we look at the NFC West, how surprised are you that the Rams have won the division? And how surprised are you that the 49ers are last? Now, I understand the 49ers were an older team, hit with an injury bug, but I thought that they still had enough to be very competitive in this division, even though we're playing our best football. Arizona was kind of up and down. Seattle was up and down. But the LA, like, where did it come from? Like, they seem like I can't name somebody that you can. Most people can't name 3 people on that team. Can probably name 2. The quarterback and Cooper Kupp. We have trouble, pronouncing the other guy's name. But who plays on their defense? You know what I mean? Like, who?
Jared Verse.
So with that being said, they seem like one of the scariest teams going into the playoffs because it's starting your season over.
Brendan Fisk.
And you're healthy. You know what I'm saying? So what are you more surprised about? LA, Seattle, or the 49ers?
I'm going to say I'm a little more surprised with LA than Pittsburgh. Personally, I'm not surprised with the Rams. Yeah, the Niners.
You saw them last?
Yeah, the Niners. Their history is they go up for a few years and then they drop to the bottom. They go up for a few years and then they drop to the bottom.
Yeah.
That's why they got my Super Bowl ring
Not bad.
20 years ago. Because they come up and they have a great team for a few years.
Yeah.
And then they drop to the bottom of the barrel. They go up for a number of years and then they drop to the bottom of the barrel. So I'm not surprised with that. LA, that didn't surprise me. It's like shit. Up until when you really didn't know who they were as a team. Then all of a sudden, they just came out of nowhere and said, hey, we're here.
Yeah.
We're going to take the show.
Yeah.
This is going to sound very biased.
So,
But Seattle should be the biggest surprise. Because, again,
Now look at the last game.
hey, look. It's why.
the question was the Rams or not?
It's not. We're all surprised by that. I mean,
So going into the season, neither one surprised me being on top or the 49ers being on bottom. The 49ers have been flirting with the bottom for a long time. And it's you get so good that you get everybody's best shot. Right? You are somebody's Super Bowl. Seattle, you were Seattle Super Bowl when we see the 49ers, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow is going to be our Super Bowl when we see the Rams. But from where the Rams came from and shot all the way up, halfway through the season, they were the third team in the division.
I know that's hard to all the they came from.
My God, let's take that back. Take that back. They were the team in the division. Because the talk was San Francisco, Arizona, because Arizona ran away with the division of people. And Seattle was still in the mix. We were 3-0 to start this thing out. Right?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, what's going on with the Rams? Well, the Rams will slowly be there. They're methodical. Right? They always seem to be at the finish line at the end. It's always that way. It's
They realize marathon does strength.
I guess so. Because realistically, you turn around, you take Aaron Donald, and you let Aaron Donald walk, right?
Yeah.
But you come back and you fill the gap with young guys like Fisk, young guys like Verse, young guys like Turner. We can start talking about. I said, Logan says you can't name two guys off that team.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can name a lot of them
Yeah.
because they kill us quite often.
The majority of the fans can't name it.
And that's because they're not real fans. If you
They're
can't,
real fans.
well,
Because they're Seahawks.
if you cannot,
They're Green Bay. They're not football.
Seahawks fans, we see these people twice a year. You know Puka Nakua is like Yellow's promise.
Yeah, and the fans don't like that pronounce it.
Puka Nakua?
Yeah.
How can we not? Nakua.
This team doesn't flow right. You know? It doesn't flow right. Look on the floor. Look on the floor. Low for the 2 page.
Satao Lamea.
How old are they? I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure maybe Jay Ukulele. Like that.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
It's Ugalei. Something like that.
Well, I'm going to tell you like
They
this.
need to go to the draft.
I think the biggest surprise probably in this division, but it's not a surprise really, is the Rams. It's just how they got you. If you told me that the Rams were going to win the division at the beginning of the year,
Please.
I wouldn't have doubted it. I wouldn't have doubted it.
I said, please.
But well, and
Please.
let's say, and we know how that goes for you right now because they're at the top.
By half game. Barely.
Barely, but they hold all tiebreakers, and even if they lose, we still don't win the division, so we don't get in. So either way it goes, I think the Rams, 49ers again. I hate the 49ers, so them being at the bottom. Oh well.
Right.
So how do you feel about the Eagles shouldn't have to go?
How do you think about the Eagles sitting in Saquon Barkley
They have to start your team.
chasing the yards milestone over Eric Dickerson?
Well,
What do you think about that?
that's good for him. That's what the team official announced that 2 hours after the game last week.
Man, I know. I'm just.
Yeah, he's not fighting for the record.
Well, no. In his last interview, it looked like he might change his tone. He said he had to sleep on it. He said he would love to chase that because we might never ever get a second chance.
Right. He said he would love to chase.
Yes.
But
He's down for whatever.
remember, he had that chance of breaking that single game record. Just 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
flat out said, no, give it to the rookies, let's have list. That's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
So he's all about getting those numbers, but it's not necessarily, I need to have a record. He's team oriented.
Yeah, he is. He is. But knowing a professional athlete's mindset, just an athlete in general, the most important thing is your legacy. How you're going to be remembered when you hang up the cleats on any level. I don't care if it's your high school, your college, or semi-pros. Like, how did I finish? And just to have your name up there above Eric Dickerson will be the world for a running back. Especially nowadays when running backs are getting the short end of the stick when it comes to their money. Always diminishing the role. Say we can find a running back in free agency or later round picks. We can get production from that. So it's so much into that. It's almost like he is being that piece to validate that position. And I know he wants it, and I know I want to see it. Because how great would that be? Playing the Giants who let you go. I think it's in Philly, right? In Philly, in front of the fans, getting that record, going into that would be something that you could just, man, sing along.
But would you be one of those guys that said you have to put an asterisk for a game because he did it for 17 games? Dickerson did it.
Well, LaFleur said something else about that too. He said that Eric Dickerson did it with more games than O.J. Simpson. Right. He got back and forth. He got. Now, hey, he got tired. This something I get tired of too. He got tired of older generational players. Seem like taking a little stab at the now generational players, and I get see that too. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, you had your fun in the sun. Move these guys up. Stop trying to diminish them and trying to raise you up if nobody's talking about you as much as they used to. That's like old man syndrome. I don't know what it is.
Well, that's star that anybody's even talking about anymore right now.
That's like
sport.
what's that guy that was 4 or 5 touchdowns in a high school game? Al Bundy. That's like Al Bundy, bringing out his stuff and talking about his glory days. That's what everything doesn't sound like. So yes, we know you were the man back in the day. But without YouTube, this generation wouldn't even know anything about everything. Go ahead. Sorry,
I agree with you on that. Like you said, the older generation of players are taking stab at the newer guys.
Yeah.
Hey, you're taking my name out of context now. Yeah. But in all actuality, out of all the sports, there's really only one older generation player that everybody's talking about on a regular basis. Jordan.
Oh yeah.
He's the only one.
Well, is he old yet? Is he considered old?
Did you say is he old?
Yeah, it's considered like Eric Dickerson is like really old. You know what I mean?
Eric is really old. But out of all the players, during anything you'll hear about some older players in football. During the season you'll hear about older players in baseball. During the Olympic season you'll hear about older players in basketball. But all year long you'll hear about Jordan.
Yeah.
He's got to shoot.
Yes. But I do want to. I already had to shoot. So you don't hear about him. Like Tumbo had to shoot. I don't hear about him. There's LeBron got several shoes. You hear about him. Well, that's this guy. Premature. So this guy. Now that you brought that up, since I wasn't going to bring this up, but I have to. Been gone for so long. Seems like been a couple of weeks. How do you guys feel about that Shannon Sharp situation? With Shannon Sharp going after his 2 ESPN colleagues because they had mentioned, and this is what I hate. When I look at podcasts like First Take or whatever I'm watching here, I hate when they get into a debate and the athlete, the Pro Bowl athlete or Hall of Fame athlete, is start losing the battle as far as debate. And so they bring up, I've played the game. You haven't. Like, that's their card they use. I'm playing at a high level. So that's that card they play because they run out of information or stats to justify their argument. So Shannon Sharp goes kind of like off a little bit on those 2 colleagues that were talking about the game. I wonder what first they got for a second. But then he made it a little bit kind of like trifling. That's all what it is. Keep my name out your mouth. I want to hear that's Kirk Herbstreit.
They said, I wonder what first takes.
Well, you know what? It wasn't even like a diss. It was like,
They did going at it.
yes,
It's something big.
yeah, still. I thought it was corny. Go ahead.
I'm gonna stick to the game before the game changed. The game has changed in the last 5 years dramatically from what we changed from.
But he could play this, you know.
I agree. In his generation, he wasn't great.
They were physical. They were dominant. It's a different dynamic. It always had Scott. You had this conversation about LeBron and Jordan.
Yeah.
And Phil, we had just not too long ago. We're talking about how the game has changed. The physicality in the football game is not as physical as it was back then. And I don't mean to say that as if it's the difference between basketball in the 90s and basketball in the 2010s. What I'm saying is that the rules are a lot different. And it's like, well, Bill made the comment, he made the comment about Woolen being Brandon Brown, and I was like, no, Brandon was way the play. But when it came down to it, that situation between Shannon Sharp and Kirk Herbstreit is one that's a personal situation. And Kirk keeps trying to throw Shannon under the bus every time. I don't know, what is that one class? I think it's Deion Sanders and Tony Romo.
Oh, yeah.
Type of situation. And hey man, you can't keep talking about what I did on this field. And I know you say it's corny, but in that situation, when it's Kirk Herbstreit talking to Shannon Sharp and they're having that discussion, and Kirk Herbstreit has something to say, well, buddy, you didn't make it out of college. You was a good. So I think he's justified saying, hey, my career is a lot better than yours. Yeah, and I've had a lot more time on the bench than in the studio and with analysis than you had. So it's fair, but it's stupid. It's stupid at the end of the day. Again, it is. But again, when we had that Devondre Campbell discussion not too long ago, I said, I don't think what he did was right, but I understand it. I don't think Shannon Sharp was right, but I understand it. Yeah,
So, yeah,
I can agree with it.
I guess. Well, see what other was that. So moving on from football, just briefly, Jimmy Butler was out of Miami. He ain't happy. Is that news? Is that even news? Pat Riley going back and forth with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, they just always seem to not have the firepower offensively to do anything. But what do you guys think about it, going back and forth with Pat Riley? You know, the same Pat Riley who got rid of Dwayne Wade, you know, who was a cornerstone of that franchise. So do you see Miami being better with or without? I'd like to hear your take on that.
You cannot. Got a big fire. And you cannot be a malcontent in my locker room as I'm trying to build a championship.
Yeah.
Not to say that Miami's even nowhere close to it, but especially when it comes to basketball, and there's only 12 to 15 of us in this locker room, you cannot be the one to display this brand. And I'm not going to let you. And Pat Riley understands that concept. He has built championships in LA. He has built a championship in Miami. He has built a championship contender in New York. Right? So he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And if he says you have to go, again, I said one of the most disappointing Seahawks this year was John Snyder. Pat Riley knows what he's talking about. Pat Riley knows the exists. And if you can't play this game at this level without shutting your mouth and being a part of what we're doing on the floor, yes, he's the person go ahead and make a move and trade.
Team Pat Riley over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're great with it. You feel like that. One, out of 10 players, that's a cancer.
That's cancer.
That's a huge cancer. It's different when you got one guy that's upset and you got 40 guys to lock their game. That's one out of 40, that's a small little issue. But when you got one of 15,
Yeah.
that's a big problem. And that cancer can grow very, very rapid in that small. So yeah, it's this time for Butler.
Goodbye, Butler. I would be interested in her. He would go though.
Keep in.
That's true. That's true. You want to come to Seattle? Oh, there you go. There you go. Let's sim here first. But where would he go to make them an instant contender? Which team would he go to? Alliance? Lakers? To make him an instant contender to win it all? No. No? No.
I don't think him making it contender. I see him improving the ability to get contender. But I didn't know anything to do. But I don't think he'd be, oh, I'm the guy where now I think this is working that we're automatic. No. No.
He's a role player.
You involved in the role players?
As long as he understands that that's his role. Well, who's he gonna outplay? LeBron? Like who's spotted the
LeBron.
Oh my goodness.
Well, okay, send him to Golden State.
Greatest of all time, LeBron James. We're not getting into that debate. Greatest of all time, please.
That is a
This is something we haven't touched on too much. The Final Four here in football. I was surprised to see Notre Dame whoop on Georgia like that. So what do you guys think about the four remaining games? We got the Final Four here. We got number 5 Texas versus number 8 Ohio State. Then we got
I think I feel Ohio State taking it all.
Ohio State plays the best football. There's not really nobody that can beat them. But I would say that's the only play good. So we'll see what happens.
I like Riley.
Talk about it.
I like Riley. I don't know what else to say, man.
I agree with you.
So was it last week? And then they're playing that is steamroll Indiana. Just I looked down and I was watching over there and I was thinking Notre Dame I think he's a transfer from Duke.
Physical, man.
Yep. He's 6'4", 220, right? And he can run. And he can throw. And if he's around in round 5 or 6, I wouldn't mind seeing us taking. I just think that between them, Texas, I'm looking at Notre Dame, man. I think Notre Dame really deserves to be looked at a little bit tougher than what people are giving credit for.
Oh, I totally agree. Notre Dame is not a weaker team there.
We say Ohio State, Alabama. Those are things that are in your mouth. Alabama, Ohio State.
Yeah, I still think Florida. Well, I think when I think of football, I think of Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. Those are the big six right there.
But when they knock Georgia on like they did, when they take Georgia out behind the shed and whoop them good.
Yeah, no, they.
I like Riley Leonard.
I like Riley Leonard.
I like Riley Leonard.
I just the way Iowa State has played in this playoff, just the playoff, not the regular season, just the playoff.
Yeah.
They're out with a chip on their shoulder,
Yeah.
and they're manhandling everybody.
You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of, but he reminds me of what Josh Allen was coming out of Wyoming. It reminds me of that clean cut, good old cornfed, 6'4", 220. You know what I'm saying? So I like Riley Leonard. He can run, he can throw that thing, man, and I think that he might be a good pick. The Seahawks get ready to draft.
He does. Good. Then we also got the see what else we got here. Penn State. We gotta think about Penn State. You're going to charge.
Correct. They're great.
Yeah, you got a damn fair charge.
They took autograph. 101.
Autograph. So what do you guys have? You got Ohio State. Ohio State.
I go Texas.
You going to Texas?
I go Texas. You know, it's another guy we should look at.
Texas versus Notre Dame or Texas Penn State?
Texas over that.
You know, the best thing about, I know we talked about how much, I know I talked about how much I like this opportunity, NIL deals and all that stuff, transfer reform, like that. The best thing about this is now teams, and especially in the SEC, can't stockpile their losses anymore. Because remember, you know, you've had your second and third strings were All-American five-stars. And you just wore other teams out. And the SEC was the most physical dominant. Now, those backups that would be second string in my red shirt are starters on other programs. So now you have this nice being able to see teams spread the wealth throughout college football. That's what I love about it. So now the SEC is not guaranteed this will move everybody anymore.
Well, if we ask Eric Dickerson, they always think spreading the West.
I can do it illegally. I transfer portal has massive. Like, look at the one that the ship literally just because you found out next year, there was a backup for Colorado, I think. Because they
They must have got
went and got the new recruit
Oh yeah.
out of high school, and he's already announced that he will be the starter next year.
Yeah, the quarterback, five starter.
Yeah. So the backup said, "Oh,
Yeah. But that's what the program is the whole NIL works. There's no, and I agree with Logan when he said it, is that there's no rules. It's the wild, wild west out here, and there's no rules that are making this thing competitive, as it should. And so, realistically, what are you really gonna look? When I watch Wazoo play all their backups in a bowl game, while they have what 25, you could have like 25 kids leave to go somewhere else. When you lose a whole program and nobody's gonna play the whole game, that's
Yeah.
so okay. So now right? So bowl games mean nothing. If you're not in the football playoff system, all them bowl games could be taken and thrown away. It's funny. And it's going to be about the money, and we're going to keep moving money and dollars around the way they should be. This is what's going to be. This is going to continue to happen.
It's going to continue for another 5-6 years before they finally get close to being right.
Well, but
They're going to make major adjustments every year.
But that's because they need to have some rules. They have not put in rules. And it's like, look at what Notre Dame is doing, right? Notre Dame is actually built in blank spots, holes. They built the offensive line in Notre Dame, right? They're not swapping out players left and right in Notre Dame on the line. Every year they're not bringing a new kid in on the line. They're bringing this quarterback in. Might bring a new receiver or running back in, linebacker, but it's not the whole thing that getting paid. The top programs, for some reason, are going grocery shopping at the end of the season. And they're buying all of that groceries. I mean, hey man, there's not a spoiled out the function out of these kids that come in. I mean, look, there's no tinted cans, the meat is still fresh,
It's all organic.
I mean, come on, man. This is what you got, and here you go. And you use the word that is very much a part of what we talk about when you talk about this youth legacy, and you talk about that '91 team and you talk about your national championship team that won it all, that team was built organically. They brought players in, and that line was organic. From the Lincoln Kennedys all the way down. Man, come on, man. I just look at it in the defense. You know what I'm saying? And it's you cannot build that anymore in college football. You're never those teams are never going to be like they used to coming up together from freshman year, sophomore year, and you know, and what we always say, well, they have a veteran squad coming back next year. You have no idea what's coming back next year. And who's leaving this season. So it's within every season right now in football is one and done.
Yep. So, as a fans, how do you support your team?
Well, we support the colors.
The brand.
It's the brand. It's always going to be that. It's not where you're from. It's where you at.
There you go. There you go. But that's the whole thing you touch on college sports. I've always thought this was a disservice to the fans, loyal fans. You know what I mean? Talking about bringing in recruits, having them stay, having them go through the process. You know what I'm saying? Become a senior or fifth grade senior, all that stuff. And I understand they need to be compensated and all those things. But it's really good right now. You love the parity across college football, but I think it's going to come to a point where it's going to be just a trauma fest to the fifth power. And it's going to be AAU basketball all over all the sports. And that's what I don't want. And that's what you want to be in college. If you want to be a coach in this era, I don't care if it's sixth grade to 26th grade. Yeah, you need to have almost have a salesman mentality because you have to recruit your own player. You got to justify them. You got to love on them. You have to create things that have a culture and a family atmosphere that kids do want to say. And if you're going to be a premier program, you're going to have some type of quality about your program that makes kids want to stay.
Well, you know, it's quality that's going to make kids want to play nowadays. I think you should work again. Because what happened is in the late 90s, early 2000s, we started doing what? We gave out participation trophies.
Yes, you're still going to get one after today, too.
You still learn something?
Oh, good.
That's fun. We and everybody should help more than the person. That's all. I'm sorry. That's not how life is.
Okay.
So you need to figure out that in sports, if you want to be the guy that everyone's looking at, you have to create competition train to be better than everyone else. Which means you're feeling get better than what they're feeling does. Be better than that guy, you have to know what he's looking for and outdo him.
Right.
Could NIL, there is none of that right now. When the program, being able to drop out the insurance or more less community, and you know more, oh, I'm better than us. The coaches are better than anybody else had. Because everybody's got an organization story and they feel like they deserve better. They're going to go to the next guy and still let them feel the way they need to be.
Set. Well, we're going to take a quick break here, here at the Wonderland Arcade. And we'll come back in about 10 minutes. We'll touch on some other things. We'll talk about what we do with USGA, talk about some baseball, talk about have some final takes on baseball, what they feel as a major concern or just something they want to put out there. So God bless y'all for tuning in. Come back in about 10 minutes and we will be back at Northwest Sports Talk here at the Wonderland Arcade. All right, y'all.
Baltimore clinches the division with win over the Browns. Say that again. Baltimore will clinch the division. They beat the
You guys ready?
Welcome back. Northwest Sports Talk 206. I'm here with my 200 studies. It's the Scott on fifth. Imagine getting them in my participation trophy. Here. No, they're all. I'm scared. Ain't they yellow ribbons? No, we're just outside having a good old time and kind of figure out who the original AFC North is. Not seeing the remember. And then I'm like, wow, Houston Oilers. Got sudden bring back memories of Houston Oilers. Even at the debacle against Buffalo and 35-3. And I'm like, man. I'm just brainstorming because I do miss the Houston Oilers that I'm running shoot offense.
Those are Tennessee Titans.
Huh?
Tennessee Titans now.
Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's really good.
That's what they are.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't care. Ray Lewis is the Browns. But anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey, still got Ray Lewis.
I never had a Ray Lewis.
Yes, you did. I know you did.
No, I didn't.
They come as white for sleeveless and they use the corners underground.
No. See, you're not cool unless you walk around with a single digit number. I don't know. It just looks weird walking around. It's a new number. I know. It's something like somebody third. Yeah. Hey, just cool. I'm a big fan of them.
Number 6.
It's number
Number 3.
Look, we got the two kids. They look good, but short. When men walking around so bad.
Unless you're number 11.
Probably, yeah.
That's a skinny number.
Yeah.
That's a skinny number. Sure.
So let's shut the book on the Seahawks. For this thing, interesting. We move on to other things. I know Scott has got me. I want to hear what do we do with Geno Smith? And can I get my 2 kids first? What I think what we should do. And we're talking about long-term, competitive. Now, if they can fix the offensive line, somehow fix it, I would want Geno to fix that. If we're still going to play with pieces and moving parts, I'd rather move on. Go cheaper. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's a draft pick, whether just a backup right now, whatever that is, go cheaper, and then make sure you pay the players that are the future. That's, those generational players that we have, whether it be Witherspoon and things of that nature. And then I would fix the offensive line with that leftover cap. I would even consider moving some top tier young talent, whether it be Mullen, whether it be one of our safeties, releasing Lockett, and then just kind of like make that roster deep. And then we can, the quarterback, we can pass less of a quarterback and we can rely on other pieces. I think that's the best formula moving forward. There's a whole lot of ifs. Because, it all depends. It makes a point to put in any quarterback with no experience behind the offensive line that we do in the game. I don't care if it's JJ Redick. I don't care if it's Joe Montana. Clones. No, don't put nothing behind that offensive line. So I want to hear your thoughts.
My thoughts are, regardless of what we do, the key thing we need to do right now is break that's the number one, period. There is, does not matter who the person gets the point in state, right? It is fine. And you can still become a crap quarterback. You can bring in any bell quarterback that's got a huge upside. And right now, you could talk about quarterback that's already played because our offensive line. We need to lock down the keep it on the offensive line. Add in a few others, and like you were talking about, I would rather have a skilled offensive line and bring in a good quarterback and make them work together and solidify an offense. Then solidify the offensive line as you know it. In my opinion, it's just a waste of money. Oh, Gino over here. Just give me walking, baby. So I alluded to it earlier. And I would actually take the opportunity to extend, yeah. And I think more so than many people took for years, on the contract. What I would be doing is, hit, not 50, hit about 60. Right? So wherever you go in right now, that's going to end up being out there. They're going to be looking for the top end of the running five, score more. So go ahead and extend, for another year. Let's draft, and let's draft quarterback. The backup, and I don't know if you're referring to Howell or Hall. No. But Howell's not working bad in business. So we can go ahead and let him go. On about his business. But what I've been looking at is my thing is this: when we start talking about developing quarterbacks, I've talked about it when we start calling David Carr, talking about Gary, talking about David, talking about his brother. That it's a Houston program is trying to destroy and people we have opportunities. So what we have to do is to have to let him, how I would let him be able to finish. And let's see. To let him have our team shit and be able to come in and keep pop up really for the last 3 games. They're not even there. You know what I'm saying? Let them have an opportunity to see that playing behind the Kirk Cousins. And I think for Seattle, Geno Smith could be that Kirk Cousins to where they're behind. The priority for this team, no matter who the quarterback is fixing that left arm and that center. And those two positions by themselves are the ones that need to get fixed and needed. Now here goes the problem. We're all coming up on year 4 for a lot of these players. And Lucas will be on his 4th year. Right? Carl will be on his 4th year. So what does that mean? Yeah, see if we're going to get him across the 5 years, it's still your options. So we can keep him at 18 million. Then we're talking about what do we do with David Lucas, because this will be the end of his contract, his rookie contract. We're going to have to pay him too. Then next year after, we're talking about all these houses. Are we going to raise it or no? He's still good. We need to have a real competition at a city. And we need to, and I think left guard, right guard, center are all spots that should be up for some competition. And then let's see what Geno can do when he's not under pressure. Man, when he wasn't under pressure, he started to hit some passes to come. So put up 30 plus in a couple games, but that's all contingent on you two. Take that on.
But I think it's my opinion on this as well. I think that Geno Smith, one of the knocks that he holds the ball too long, and I think some of those sacks were his fault. And unfortunately, we don't see what we see. Unless you're at the game, unless you're able to see the whole field to get on the 10. He holds the ball way to the arms. And I think there's many times that the offensive line has held up in spots and seems to he just still hasn't done anything with football. So it's like I said, I think sometimes we choose to blame more of the scheme more so than even Geno Smith. And I'll say that because when Trump was taking over, one of my question marks was, Geno Smith holding the ball too long, and the offensive line not being great. How successful will that offense be? And I think the offense needs, if there's any offense that needs stability, it's Glove that really needs stability from the offensive line.
Okay, so and
Or a mobile quarterback.
well, okay, here goes the stability, guys. And so the issue comes from the fact that President Washington, you have to run the ball. I don't care if it was and for reason that you started to look back. So we're talking about the average per right? Because it's sports, this is here. In the NFL, that's good. That's good. That's good. You cannot go from running the ball. This is how it works. And that's what they're seeing. Constantly, is just abandoning the rip. We have one of the worst rushing attacks in the NFL. You just don't do it enough. There was a game we only ran the ball 7 times. Man, look, when my son was trying to learn how to walk, he fell 7 times. Before he got up on 8 time and just kick off on the out. You know what I'm saying? You have to give that thing a chance to get to it. You got to give it a chance to reach. And he is not allowing offensive reach because it's not allowing it to shake on the company to run, right? You can see I see some draws, few delays, quarterback keeper every so often. But you cannot run everything out to the edges, especially when the most dominant parts of your game are being able to run up the middle. If you can't run above the middle, push the pocket a little, and you got a back like Sherman or a back like McIntosh, I get it, the offense is terrible. But I bet you can get some guys in here that can butt block.
So one thing I want to, now I'm really looking forward. I'm gonna switch gears just a little. I'm since day one. Scott knows this. I'm a bandwagon Mariners fan. When the Mariners are winning, I got the T-shirt, the socks, and the hat. And I don't watch the full game or watch highlights. But like I said, I keep going back to the early '90s because when the Mariners are winning, there's no greater buzz. There's the atmosphere, it's far when the Mariners are winning. So I'm hoping that we got some news that the Mariners are going to be competitive this year. And I see you wearing the jacket over here. And I'm on wearing the jacket. So I want to know they're going to be competitive in any form this year. Are we hopeful?
They're not even competitive in free agency.
Because I'm not going to get up here and talk about it until I see a couple wins. And I'm going to come here and sound like an expert.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah. So, is there any information on the Mariners right now?
The only information right now is they have announced we're offering $1 We'll see what comes to that. And we're still in the running for that's the only information right now. They're definitely.
No, still on the table.
Yeah, it's all available until we keep 10 days. You're doing nothing.
Any of these two make us any better than what we are now?
Well, I love it. Or a third baseman, whichever one makes sense.
And since you currently have no first baseman, anybody is
We currently don't have a first baseman or a third baseman right now. Currently. But we can offer the rollers now and come back. Play first. Which I think would be a good idea. I like stuff.
Okay.
Make a great third base.
Okay.
First base, we can platoon. If we bring back Turner, we can platoon Hitch and Raley. I like bringing something like Turner. I think they're better. But Turner's only going to be around a year. Maybe with the muscle. And we can do more of a DH guy. So we need to bring in some younger talent to play the rest of the game. Raley is great. I think he's more of an outfielder than he is an infielder. But he can play for second base is where we have our incident. Yeah. So by bringing in Alonso, that frees up the ability to focus on our second base. So who's going to be our second base? I personally think the smart idea is very good is bring up the list, give him an honest, full year shot at second base, and let's see what he can do.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Paul Young comes up yet. I'm not a fan of Paul Young comes up yet. I think so. It's right.
Yeah, I don't know that way because I don't know those guys are talking about coming up. Somebody don't think they guys are coming up.
Or then, when Blitz came up a couple of times during this factor. And when he came up, he struggled, played a little bit, but his defense was phenomenal.
And he got on there.
Phenomenal. And he constantly got on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he struck out, I mean, like, 1 out of every 3 or 4 strikeout. But he was blocking every game and stealing bases. He's plucking the ball. And we're not talking about a bucket that goes right down, right back to the pitcher. We're talking, he's putting the ball 3 inches off third baseline. And this kid is short, but quick. Right? If I'm going to say, being a guy person who's in the organization, and pick the right Blitz right here at the top. Logan saying, well, when he was right up there, and even Luke Brady, for the 215-pound goofy running. So I think I'm going to talk inning runner. And Ryan Blitz, when you talk to whether it's with us or being a crazy way, and I think he's going to end up being a huge roommate like a creative revolution. He's so short, but he's like a phenomenal defense, and he got it back. He doesn't hit the long ball all the time, but he doesn't hit a lot of it. He knows to get on there. And that's what we need. Hold on, he's developing time, but he's just not ready yet. Most everything is a little higher up people. But still, I get it. I don't think he's ready to follow. He's turned it up and running. Yeah, there's all that turned up and they're doing well. There's a huge difference between AAA and pro, but I don't think Sporting was going to fall down and ready to make that move.
So that's so keep it updated. You know, I can't wait to see this next season.
And what's the what they talking about keeping a lunch check? They're talking 3 years, 90 million. Which is higher than our budget. But it's not so high that for doing like we do when we went to got the gold frame, you think how it's not 10 years. But it's not 10 years, you know, we're going for 3 years. You've got Alonso not young, but he's not old. He's right there in the middle of his career, you know, he's working into that really. So he's got 3-4 years left in his without a problem. And if he's consistent, that's what we need. And they just, it seems like they just drop the ball consistently. All jumped in.
So if you're looking, I was looking at this, a lot of their deals are contingent on whether they're able to do the concealed.
Yeah, they're on one group. Just along the deal is not.
Well, I think it is because I mean if they're going to do something they're concealed if they end up getting along.
Oh, I heard a rumor about another talking. Still, yeah. But this one doesn't want to involve topics, so she don't want to. What if they your third game? Right. I just don't, yeah.
The Cleveland deal, so I like the big on purchase.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to fill through. Everything is filled through. They allow more. So when you start talking about people Alonso was the last thing left.
Yeah, they were very, yeah, I have been having changes here. And the British, yeah, seems the last one left. And kind of available for player, it's pretty much him and us. I didn't see what they had.
Me and a buddy at work was talking about this conversation. And he saw that he said the Mariners approach to this last season is, hey, let's just see what's left. And whenever they're still around, he's
But I love the advantage of Jerry. Jerry is known for acquiring talent. Whether or not you realize it's done well, sure. But he's known for doing that. He's the one who went out and got you. He's the one that went out and got Secret of Tom replaced. Yeah. He's the one that went out and got a Rosa Raven. He's the one that went out and got Rolex. And he was doing it at the firing counts. His downfall is he tends to give these big contracts to guys that are at the end of their prime.
He's the ones who went out and got I cheat. Did you see who Robert said started going here?
Yeah, and I agree.
John Schneider Jr.
I believe agree.
Yeah. They are saving the both of their teams.
I think that's it. Constantine.
Yeah, I just like, and I don't want to know why because my thing is, I've been on too much Schneider tears. I ain't thinking we need to get rid of him or nothing like maybe he need to clean up the sack because take his ego down with his figure out but the Mariners have the engineer seems like they're afraid to succeed.
I don't think they're afraid to. I truly and 100% believe that ownership is complacent with being just above average.
They're just willing to build seats. Yeah, it doesn't have the financial conversation that comes from building the whole seats in the center.
And that's about people. If they really wanted to build this thing, here's one of three things. Drop your damn ticket prices back down to what they were 10 years ago. Here's 3 years ago. If I didn't fix the gun up 700 for those last 30 years.
I'm going to tell you like this. I'm not switzerland until they do something. Until they come up, I am on boycott. I'm on Mariners boycott. And I am a fan, but as a fan, I'm asking for them to do better.
I agree. And if it were not for licensing, frankly, I'm going to have to get it. But because I am a season ticket holder.
How many us?
Oh, hell no. You know, I wish we didn't go to as many games as I used. There I got to get it. You got to go ahead and come back home.
Your protest is meaning
That's not concept. Your life just tells me you can buy the other option that they have instead of going to use it. Is bring in the talent and be a competitive team.
Can we try to win? I'm just like, it's like being a little kid and your bigger brother is jumping on you and beating you up, and your mom and dad looking at you like,
And the jugular,
yeah, and then you get trouble for it. No, my dad say, when you get there, he's all you. Why don't you just bitch him? You know what I'm saying? Fight him, scratch and simple. The Mariners are not fighting, scratching, or doing anything in that front office. I'm just discussing. I don't feel that. So, good.
I'm just not going to
It's the only league that has no salary cap. And they are afraid to spend money. And if they do spend money, they say,
here's where the no salary cap thing when he tells it.
what's the tax?
No. There's all these things out there right now. And it was doctor. They're going out and they're firing all this now. Okay? They're deferring all this money. Now those cheap bikes are taking 15 years down the road.
Oh, I think.
I did that 10 years ago.
I'm talking about Bobby Bonilla now.
No, I'm not talking about Bobby Bonilla. Before that time, Bobby Bonilla was one of the first to actually confirm. And
It just came out books recently. Right?
no, that's good. Next year is finally straight. Just name all the book.
30 years.
Yeah. Okay. So, issue is, the last team that made this major push and the first payment, like the Dodgers are doing right now, was the Diamondbacks. And what happened is they just first sold that 3 years later, they want to sold 6 years later, the owners in the file would say, because they couldn't afford all the different things. And then they sold the team. I think it means realizes that he didn't realize if I go through this, I'm screwed in 15 years.
Hey, you know what? I think you're on to something. And let's defer some contracts here so they will sell the team to somebody who actually will give it.
Through that, just sell the team that don't even share.
Sell the team to the city.
Who was the average?
Oh, from
No, Cuban, come on. From West Seattle.
no,
Make us relevant.
we need a local ownership. No, they take everything out of here. Take everything. Well, I'm saying that they do.
He won't.
I'm with them.
No, he won't. Look what
Jeff Bezos. Final.
Steve Bezos stay away. Yeah. Steve. I'd rather have Elon Musk on. Yeah. Okay.
Well, you just see Mariners flying over New Jersey at that.
Like, you know, I mean, it is just a short walk away from where we used to send them.
I'm just like, I just want to see them doing something, anything positive or productive as far as the trade and the transaction. Because the transaction, that's going to make it somewhat successful.
Here's where I'm at with it. At this point in the offseason. Okay, we're like 38 days okay, basically. Okay, we're free trade coming up. If we do not say he move, acquire some talent, then going to make it relevant, they better be damn ready that come opening day, if we have a relevant team, whether it's bringing up guys to play, and we are competitive from the get-go and stay competitive all year long, and not have a April, May, June that is good, and then July, August, sick, and then over the fight. We better be game one. Be competitive. You're not going to make it even thoughts. You better be competitive at game one to get 182.
I just had that thought. And them going in on game day, they walk over to the guy and say, hey, can we all three or four kids to play first base, second base, and maybe a third, or let's work with the games this week. Because that's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like. That's one thing. We're not going to go out and compare good guys. Each time the guy can get out, i.e. Turner, and Robles, they bring up and see to that.
They let Rojas walk scouts out of here last week. Rojas signed, I can't think of who.
Yeah, he's not capable.
Yeah, and he was wanting to bring it back. So I'm just like, it's ugly, man. And I don't like where it's going, and I don't like the method that you're taking because I don't want to just pick up all the straps and over scrapping for almost even gas on just so you can lost.
So you know, through the goals, Mitch Hennigan declaring he picked it up.
That's why. But Robles can play anchor spot.
Well, that's the thing. That put him in a bunch because I don't think the photo will plan on picking up his options. But because they don't pick up his options, right? Because he ain't get up. So that forces up behavior.
Do you remember how much money was on his heel for Hennigan? And not paying for that. Especially when you're saying, hey, can I make the club in the team?
I agree.
He's always hurt.
He's either hurt
Or he's not productive.
he's productive as a productive player. He is not productive as an everyday player.
And he's making everyday dollars. That's what the problem is.
I don't mind. Because he's going to take the from up. Have you not taken up the album? And you have to bring creating no good from up. That brings up some to a tip block.
Bye, Hennigan.
So, we're traded. You don't have out.
I don't want it. I've been wanting it twice.
Hey, but if we just have share I'm saying. So it's either let him play once in a while or have maybe what 16 million something like that in a year. Oh,
It should be 20.
No, I don't think they've been told to my son. Like she's like 16 for the final year.
Big kid rocks.
Yeah, I need to serious.
So it looks like we are better close to our end time. But I want to give you guys some time to shine a little bit, giving us our last take, so to speak. And this could be any subject, any sports, whatever the case may be. You guys have already discerned, right, their prophets. They know what their prophets. Yeah, I know it. I know it. So, but my final take is this. John Snyder's not on a hot seat this, but he will be next year if he doesn't fix the office. So he has a task of fixing this offensive line. And if he doesn't, and we miss the club next year, he's gone. So I believe you're going to see all the shifts on that. So one thing about I hear about pro sports, more so sometimes when we talk about buildings, is a coach or a GM is on a hot seat. And sometimes a mortgage the future because they have to keep their job, right? They got a mortgage, they got to pay. They want to go to Hawaii and Japan and all season, all that other stuff. They want to buy their kids houses and cars and things like that. So that's one thing I'm excited about for the TR. I think right now, as far as John Snyder needing to fix this off line because the front office is tired of it, fans are tired of it. We're tired of seeing our quarterbacks under duress. So has to fix it now. You're going to see a lot of chips moving forward, trying to finalize that. I don't see them going to the quarterback. I don't necessarily see that because he needs to win now. And I think more so they will turn to Gino and still try to make some moves for maybe trade some pieces on that defense if they have to solidify the protection for us. Because everyone knows, I know you guys see it too. Give that man a clean pocket, he will light it up. And I think Seattle will go with that. That's my final take on the Seattle Seahawks. You guys can have the floor, whatever you guys want to speak about. My final take is this. Like I said with the Mariners, they do not pick up major talent. They need to use 3 times the guys that we have. They're going to perform and at least make them stretch and fight from day 1 or day 182 and get into the playoffs. They don't. Then the other guy goes. They can find a new guy. They can come in and convince things to the money because this is getting ridiculous. In 3 years, you've been extremely competitive, playoff time, step 2, falling short. So game. What game? And we've done nothing in the last 2 years now. Nothing about this. Game. Last up the bat. How do we fix all sort of issues? Game. It's not for that. I just told you. And I usually have everything great. I think realistically, what we are talking about it's probably about there's symptoms. And probably this season is getting much harder than it is right now. Come the end of tomorrow's game, win, lose the club, they may be an announcement. Not cancel. Whether it's one of these things, or if it's going to be going. You might have to wait for half. So at the end of the game, I'm thinking half under these and now. I'm thinking that really just to happen here. That's tired of this one. We have to fix the old line. We have to draft a short issues. I gave up, you gave up the spaces or spots right now. I live on one city short sand now. I don't care how much practice sand now I have. Yeah, but he can't do it. It sand now just like he was way in the organization. Offensive line illness. But I do believe that Washington offensive line is darn near the same line that JJ was a So we need to find us some average quarterbacks. That means some average draft. I want to continue talking about this on our base throughout the rest of the season in terms of our play. Coming 26, 27, I think
when you're talking about this. But we need to look at some names that we can try to back in drafts. We're not looking for we're not looking for the Jay that we're looking for the Brock Purdy. We're looking for those next guys that can be searchable game management. You have a offensive coordinator that, for some reason, wants his quarterback to be a superstar and wants him to be able to throw the ball all around the field.
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy is not that. Okay. He is an option that's out there. And let's draft a quarterback to come in to sit behind Reno and 2 years and stick with Regino. And see how we can lower his cap in, go in at Tyler Johnny. It's a lot of moving parts. We will continue to keep talking about parts and pieces need to be adjusted on this team. This is not the last conversation about seeing all that. Obviously, ask Scott. Scott's over there and he's telling me, and he knows we don't keep talking to last part. Well, I here. And here's the way for it. Took Joey and Bogan and Scott for draft coverage, draft talk, for trade talk, for agency. We're going to beat this thing up like a dead viewer. Until they fix what's wrong with Scouts, this seems. So, Mike McDonald's going to help us out. I give him credit for making the best meal out of the greatest anything is. Comments.
Till next time, we're out Northwest Sports Talk 206 with Fran, with Scott. We'll see you next Saturday, same time, same place. We out.
Man, here.
Take the commercial, Fran.
Got it?
Yeah. I know.
You ain't got it.
I know.